When I was 20, I learned something the hard way. In a quiet neighborhood, you don't look for danger. You look for streetlights. You look for familiar houses. You look for anything that tells you you're not alone. Because the night I walked to my girlfriend's house, I kept hearing movement behind me, and I kept telling myself it was nothing, until she asked me a question through the phone that made my stomach drop. She said, "Who's that guy right behind you?" I lived in a really quiet, upper-middle-class part of town at the time. The kind of place where the loudest sound at night is a sprinkler turning on. My girlfriend back then, I'll call her Casey, lived close. 2 blocks. Close enough that I'd walk over all the time. It was winter break. One of those nights where you're bored, you're restless, and you just want to be around someone. So around 11 p.m., I texted her. She said I could come by. I threw on a hoodie and started walking. The street was empty. No cars moving. Porch lights off. Just those tall bushes people keep along the sidewalk like a living wall. About halfway there, I heard the first sound. A bush moved. Not like wind. Like something pushed through it. I didn't stop walking. I just turned my head for half a second. Nothing. So I did what a lot of people do when they're trying not to feel scared. I walked faster. By the next block, I heard another sound. A twig snapped. That time I stopped, and I turned around fully. The street behind me was empty. The bushes were still, and there were no driveways close enough for someone to just step out and disappear that fast. Then I heard something else. Soft footsteps. Quick, light footsteps. I turned again, without stopping this time. Nothing. That's when my brain started doing that thing where it tries to protect you from the truth. It started offering explanations. A cat, a raccoon, tree branches, anything except a person. I was close enough to see Casey Street now, and that's when I did something I thought would calm me down. I called her. I kept my voice low, like saying it out loud would make it more real. I told her I kept hearing stuff behind me, and it was starting to freak me out. She laughed at first, not in a mean way. In that way people do when they think you're just spooking yourself. She said, "You're fine. Just get here." I turned onto her street. Her house was near the end. 2-story, white trim, big bushes around the driveway. And something about seeing her house should have made me feel safe. But instead, it made me feel rushed. Because now if someone was behind me, they knew exactly where I was going. As I got to her driveway, I walked along the side where the tall bushes were. They formed this narrow little corridor between the sidewalk and her yard. I remember hearing that movement again, right behind me. But I was so close to the front door that I didn't want to turn around again. I didn't want to look paranoid. I stepped onto her property, and that's when I saw her. Upstairs, in her bedroom window. She waved. I waved back, still holding my phone to my ear. And then her voice changed. Like she'd just seen something her brain didn't accept at first. She said, "Who's that guy right behind you?" The air left my lungs. I spun around, and there he was. A grown man, crouched low, walking fast, maybe 10 feet behind me. He wasn't running. He was trying to stay quiet. My whole body went cold. I screamed. I dropped the phone, and I ran for the front door, pounding on it with both hands. I heard footsteps rush up behind me. A hand grabbed my shoulder. Hard. He yanked me back and tried to get his arm around my neck, like he'd practiced it. Like it wasn't his first time. I fought, more out of panic than strength. Elbows, twisting, trying to get my chin down so he couldn't lock it in. The front porch light flicked on, and that light changed everything. Because as soon as it came on, the man let go. Not slowly, not hesitating. He just released me like I was nothing and took off down the driveway. I hit the door again, screaming. It opened so fast I nearly fell inside. Casey's mom was there. She grabbed me by the arm and pulled me in hard. Then she slammed the door and locked it. Casey came running down the stairs. Her face was pale. I was shaking so badly I couldn't talk right away. My throat felt tight, like I'd swallowed something sharp. Casey's mom didn't waste time. She called the police immediately. While she was on the phone, she kept asking me questions. What did he look like? Did he say anything? Did I know him? I kept looking out the front window through the blinds, expecting to see him standing under a tree or behind a car. But the street looked normal again. Empty. That's the creepy part. How fast it can go back to normal, like nothing happened. When the police arrived, they searched the immediate area. They drove the surrounding blocks. They checked the nearby park entrance. They didn't find him. One officer told me something that made it feel worse, not better. He said, he probably wasn't from this neighborhood. Because people who live there don't crouch walk behind someone at midnight. Casey's mom insisted I stay the night. No argument. I barely slept. Every time a car passed outside, I woke up. The next morning, she drove me home herself. And on the drive, she kept checking the rearview mirror like she didn't trust daylight to protect us. For a while after that, I changed how I did everything. I stopped walking at night. I stopped using the same route when I had to. I kept my phone in my hand, ready. But the thing that stuck with me most wasn't the grab. It was the detail I realized later. The part that makes my skin crawl. Those bushes along the sidewalk. They were thick enough that you could follow someone the entire way without being seen once. And that night, he didn't suddenly appear behind me near Casey's driveway. He had probably been there the whole walk. Just close enough to hear me. Just hidden enough to stay invisible. And if Casey hadn't looked out that window when she did, I don't know if her mom would have opened that door in time. I don't know how long he would have held on. If you ever feel like you're being followed, don't worry about looking paranoid. Worry about getting home alive.